Today's learning goal for Lesson 3 of long division is I can use long division to find quotients with remainders. I can use long division to find quotients with remainders. Please write this goal down in your notes. We're going to start off with the equation 815 divided by 7. Remember the checklist that we've talked about. D, M, S, C, B. And remember, we're going to remember that D stands for divide, M stands for multiply, S stands to subtract, C stands for check, and B stands for bring down. Now let's go ahead and start out with our 7 and our 8 for divide. We're going to look in the dividend. We're going to say if I have 8 groups of 100 and I had 7 groups, how many will each group get? How many times will 7 go into 8? It can go in one whole time. Each group will get 1. So we want to put the 1 right above the 8. That's our divide step. Now let's go to multiply. 1 times 7. 1 times 7 is 7. We write it directly below the 8. I notice how I checked off my multiplication step. Now we subtract. 8 minus 7 is 1. 8 minus 7 is 1. Next, we're going to check. Is 1 less than 7? It is, so that means I divided correctly. And now I'm going to bring down the 1. Step B. I'm going to drop it directly next to the other one I had in place. So now this means I have 11 groups of 10s. This is 11 strips of 10. So if I had 7 groups and I want to divide those 11 strips, how many will each group get? They'll each get just 1 because 7 can go into 11 only one time. If you said 2, that would be 14, and that's too many. So we're going to put a 1 directly up top. That's my dividing step. Now we're going to multiply. 1 times 7 is 7. I'm going to put it right below my 11, and I'm set up to subtract. 11 minus 7 is just only 4. Check that off. And now let's check. Is 4 less than 7? Yes, it is. So now let's just bring down the 5, which is my B step. Drop the 5 next to the 4, and now I have 45 units. That's 45 1 pieces. I have 7 groups. If I wanted to divide those 45 pieces into 7 groups, how many will each group get? Well, 7 can go into 45. When I know my facts, I know 7 times 6 is 42. So I'm going to put 6 right up here. That's my division step. Now I'm going to multiply. 6 times 7 is 42. And now I'm going to subtract. 45 minus 42 is 3. Now you're going to ask yourself when you check, is 3 less than 7? Absolutely. So now you want to bring down. Well, wait, there's nothing left to bring down, is there? So I would say these are like the leftover pieces, so we call that the remainder. So I'm going to put a little r up top in my quotient with a 3. Now to check this, we're just going to do what we've done on the last 2 lessons. We're going to multiply. 116 times 7. 7 times 6 is 42. 7 times 1 is 7, plus another 4 is 11. 7 times 1 group of 100 is 7 groups of 100, plus 1 more group is 8. That's 812. But don't forget to add back in your remainder of 3. So when you check, it does match. So 116, remainder 3 is the correct answer, also called our quotient. Let's try one more problem. Our next equation is going to be 432 divided by 5. Write that down in your notes. 432 divided by 5. Remember our steps. Start out with divide. Can 5 go into 4? This means if I had 400 mats, 4 groups of 100 mats, and I have 5 groups, I cannot divide those 4 100-piece mats with 5 groups. So I'm going to have to break those apart. So I'm going to now look at the 43. I've broken it up into 43 groups of 10. So now I'm going to look at the 2 digits, 43 divided by 5. How many times can 5 go into 43? When I count by 5s, I know 5 can go into 43 8 whole times without going over. Step 2 is to multiply. 8 times 5 is 40. Now I'm going to subtract. 43 minus 40 is just 3. Check. Is 3 smaller than 5? Yes, it is. And now what do I bring down? Just the 2. Now we're going to go back and divide. But my new division problem will be 32 divided by 5. I have now 32 units, and I'm going to divide them into 5 groups. 32 divided by 5. How many times can 5 go into 32? Well, if I count by 5s, I would have 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. That's multiples of 5 would be 6. 6 times 5 is 30. So I just divided, and I multiplied 6 times 5 is 30. Now let's subtract. 32 minus 30 is 2. Let's check. Is it smaller than 5? Absolutely, so that you can't divide them anymore. Is there anything else to bring down? No, there's not. So the 2 becomes my remainder. So my answer, also called the quotient, is 86 remainder of 2. Let's check it really fast. 86 times 5. You take your answer times your divisor. 5 times 6 is 30. 5 times 8 groups of 10 is 40 groups of 10. Plus another 3 groups is 43 groups of 10. So that's 430. And don't forget your remainder of 2 to add back in. So when you add this all up, you have 432 as the final answer. And look, that matches my dividend. So 86 with the remainder of 2 is the correct answer. Let's try one more together, whole group. Don't forget your checklist. Let's do this. How many times can 4 go into 5? You should have said 1 whole time. So you want to put the 1 above the 5. Next step, multiply. 1 times my 4 equals 4. Where do we put it? You should have said below the 5. Next step, subtract. We're going to subtract 5 minus 4. You should have 1. Next step, before I bring down, I want to check, is 1 less than 4? Yes, it is. Next, I bring down just the 6. Now we're going to go back to divide. Now I have 16 divided by 4. 16 divided by 4 is 4. You should have 4 up top. Always put your answer in the top part of the equation. Now I'm going to multiply whatever I put up there. 4 times 4 is 16. I've set myself up to subtract. 16 minus 16 is 0. Let's check. Is 0 less than 4? Absolutely. Is there anything else to bring down? My 1. Now, this is where it gets a little tricky, so pay close attention. Now I have 1. Don't think that's the remainder, because if you look up top, you're going to notice that 14 times 4 would never equal 561. We're back to our division step again. You have to ask, how many times can 4 go into 1? If you said 0, you're absolutely right. So you have to put 0 up in the quotient. That's where it goes. And now let's go to step 2, multiply. 0 times 4 is 0. Step 3 is subtract. 1 minus 0 is 1. And now you can say, check. Is 1 less than 4? Yes, it is. Is there anything else to bring down? No, there is not. So now, let's see if our answer makes sense. 140 times 4. You want to always check with multiplication. And as I check with multiplication, I'm going to add back in my remainder of 1. So the correct answer is 140 with the remainder of 1. 140 with the remainder of 1. I can put a little smiley face here because I got it correct. So So here's going to be your homework problem tonight. Practice problem is 215 divided by 3. Don't forget your checklist as you go through each step. And when you're finished, rate yourself. Are you getting this really well? If you are, then you can go ahead and circle that on your paper. If you get some of it, circle some of it. If you don't get any of it, please circle I don't get any of it. But if you could teach it to someone else, please circle that choice. And I will see you tomorrow on the flip side. Have a good day.